100 Resilient Cities is an organization that was founded just over 3 years ago by the Rockefeller Foundation. And the idea is to work with 100 cities around the world to help them become more resilient to their everyday challenges, both shocks and stresses. Shocks are those big events that happen like earthquakes, big giant storms. Stresses are those everyday acute chronic pains that cities have to deal with all the time. Things that affect people in their homes, people in their communities, and can begin to also undermine a city just as easily as a shock can. So what we want to do is help cities figure out how to do that work better, more effectively, and more proactively. To do that, we thought it would be great to partner with 100 cities and really begin to try this new practice of resilience on and see what it takes to do that. The way we work with cities is we provide them resources to do some thinking and planning around resilience, and that's typically through a chief resilience officer who is the lead for a city. To help the city get a chief resilience officer, we actually pay for that, and that's something that both Wellington and Christchurch have received from us. In addition, we provide technical resources to help that chief resilience officer create a strategy that's something that the whole entire city can support, be excited about, and really want to take into their homes and take action against. And that's why we're here in Wellington today, to celebrate the release of the strategy. And celebrate's a tough word to use when you talk about resilience, because the work that we're honoring here is work that's going to help the city survive and become what it wants to be, no matter what type of stress or shock it faces in the future. So maybe a better word than celebrate is here. We're here to mark an important milestone from thinking and planning and a milestone of moving into action. And we're here to help the city begin to make that transition and hopefully take the urgent and important work forward in a way that not only catalyzes what the city's trying to do, but really accelerates that work so that the next time something happens, the city is ready and will face less of the challenge and the stress. Yeah, the process for selecting cities took place over 3 years. Each year we ran a different challenge and we selected cities to be part of the program. In New Zealand, we have 2 cities that are part of the program, both Christchurch and Wellington. Christchurch was selected in the first year, and Wellington was selected in the second year. Throughout all 3 years, we've had over 1,000 cities apply. What's really interesting about the challenge is how the understanding of what resilience is has changed. So early on in the application process, we were getting cities talking about disaster risk reduction, saying if we won this grant, we'd be thrilled to be a part of the program and we'll buy a new Jeep and 2 motorcycles so we can respond to disasters better. Later on, in the third round and second round, we start to see cities talking about resilience in a much more broad, holistic way, talking about the idea of resilience is about bringing in the social concerns that we have throughout our city and being able to interweave those concerns in how we're managing our infrastructure and how it relates to our economy. 3 important things are happening globally. Right? Cities are becoming more popular. People are moving there for many reasons. They're becoming the economic engines, not just of their region, but perhaps their country, as well as the economic engines of the world. So cities are becoming more popular, the urbanization movement's happening, and cities are becoming more connected than ever before. But at the same time, cities are being faced with shocks and stresses like they never have before. The climate's changing, the impacts that cities are facing from these types of storms and events are more often and more severe than ever before. We're seeing cities facing demographic changes, economic changes that they've never faced before. And these kind of challenges are hard to manage. And typically in a political environment in cities that have where your leadership is really focused on keeping the day-to-day working, we wanted to create a space where cities could step back and begin thinking about what is it that we need to do proactively. And what we do with cities is try to get them to understand not just the challenges that they face that are predictable, but recognizing that many of the challenges they face are in many ways unpredictable, and that we live in an uncertain future where you never know what tomorrow's challenge is going to be. And because you don't know what that challenge is going to be, it's really critical that cities begin to ensure that the steps they are taking, the actions, the investments, the engagements, the time and efforts are geared towards having as many benefits as possible, so that you're not just solving flooding problems, but you're also solving flooding problems as well as social cohesion problems while growing your economy. And if cities can begin to figure out how to tackle multiple challenges at the same time and have many benefits for the work they're doing, it'll be a huge step forward in them becoming more resilient and better able to become the city they truly want to be, no matter what type of challenges they face. One of the core themes that came from our process of selecting cities was cities kind of nominating some of their first early thoughts on what their challenges were. And by far, the number one theme is the concern around water. The cities are afraid of water, either too much, too little, water in the right place, water in the wrong place, dirty water, clean water, storm water, wastewater. Water's a big issue. And that's something that a lot of cities are trying to tackle every day, and we want to help them do that in smarter, better ways. Another thing that's really emerged is, while people start with this idea of water and infrastructure investment, as they go through the journey of understanding what it is that makes their city resilient, what emerges is the community, and at the heart of the community, they find their people. And so cities are beginning to talk about resilience and infrastructure, not through the idea of let's build our way out of problems, but more about how do the problems we're trying to solve affect the people, and what are the right solutions. So that emergence of both people and the emergence of water and other challenges like that and how they work together is becoming a critical theme that many, or if not most of our cities are wrestling with.
I think from Wellington's perspective, the main themes that we've really enjoyed producing, and that we think marks us as a bit different from many other cities, first of all, a focus on the Indigenous people of New Zealand and of our region. Ka mau te wiki, Dan. So we're really pleased that we've managed to weave into our story, to Wellington's story, the story of the people of the land, of the tangata whenua. And Māori people have a rich oral history, and they tell their stories orally and beautifully, and we hope that we've taken a little piece of that and planted it in our strategy, and it's based around a family that is Māori at its heart. So we're really happy that we've got people at the heart. It's a Māori family at the heart of the strategy, because everything is about people. I talk to engineers and they get excited about shear waves and about stresses. I talk to accountants, they get excited about rates of investment and about taking risks. I talk to people that work in the social sector, they get excited about vulnerable people. Now, none of those people are wrong, but what this strategy does is it forces us to use a common language. Be you Māori, be you an engineer, be you Pākehā, and it forces us to agree on a common language and common objectives. So for me, that's one of our greatest achievements in coming up with a strategy, is agreeing on a common language with people at its heart. We think that the best way to convince people, even engineers and treasury people, about investing in a city is to tell a story. So we're really pleased that our strategy tells a story. The second area that we're really pleased about is the focus on where we live. So our home is our castle in New Zealand. You need to feel secure and safe in your home. So there's a lot of focus on people having a warm, safe, dry home. And if you can guarantee that, or at least reduce the risk around that, then you've got a better case for investing in the infrastructure that makes those homes resilient. So again, the only reason you have a home is for people. So people at the heart of it, but people living in warm, safe, dry homes, Dan.